Welcome back to Aero-TV's live coverage of the 53rd Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show at the Gaylord Palms near Orlando, Florida. This is kind of a noisy environment, but we'll make the best of it. We've got kind of a quiet corner, and we're going to talk to some folks in the industry today and tomorrow. Dan Barks is with me. Dan is the GA Marketing Manager for Honeywell. And Dan, first of all, how is the show going for you? It looks like it's bustling for what's supposed to be a recession year.
Oh yes, it's we're very excited and very pleased with the turnout.
All right, Honeywell has kind of an interesting product line going now in that I think maybe a lot of GA pilots don't know that there are some products for them at the lower end of the spectrum as well. But let's start by talking about Primus. Tell us, give us a brief status update on that system and the product line.
Okay, the Primus Elite product line is really designed to retrofit the older cathode ray tubes, which is like the older TVs, to LCDs on the larger business jets. And those guys are really excited because there's up to 5 displays in some of the larger, like a Gulfstream and so forth. And it gives them a very good way to upgrade to data link weather, charts and maps, things that the older technology wasn't even imagined where some of that was designed. It allows them very little downtime because you can slide out the old CRT and slide in the new LCD, and now you have a much more modern cockpit without tearing the whole airplane apart and doing, and having the airplane down for months. It's 10 days or less to upgrade an airplane, and a Part 25 large jet like that, that's very quick.
Now, when you talk about that upgrade, I want to make sure our viewers understand what we're talking about here. In many cases, these cathode ray tubes did nothing but nose-mounted radar. What additional capabilities are brought in, and what did it take to get that STC'd?
Okay, those airplanes, the CRTs actually in this segment did everything. So they would be your primary flight displays, your multifunction displays, your radar indicator. But they didn't have advanced features like charts and maps and data link weather. Some of these systems, when they were installed, the data link is via XM, and that, of course, wasn't online back then. So we really have the upgrade has really been simplified because now you have many sensors and many parts of the airplane that are being upgraded simply by sliding in these new LCDs, and then they have the software to talk to these other new functions.
So the standardization of a serial bus, for example, among all the different aircraft systems makes it possible for them to tie a lot of things together. It's not just a swap of a part in the panel. In some cases, it would involve some additional equipment around the airplane. That's
right, like an XM receiver. But for this upgrade, it really minimizes that. And there's a lot of proprietary data on some of these airplanes. So the heading may be one way, the radar interface may be another way, or at least the control of it may be. And so to piecemeal it would be almost impossible. So as the manufacturer of the original equipment, we could go back to the original design and then make the LCD mimic in a lot of ways the original design plus add these features. And that minimizes crew training and downtime.
When you're looking at an upgrade like this, I don't know if people who don't deal frequently with this segment of the aviation marketplace understand the additional value that it brings to the aircraft and the additional mission capability it brings. Speak to that for a moment.
Okay, a lot of these airplanes, they're 10, $20 million airplanes, and so the owners are very interested in having a way to upgrade these airplanes to some of these advanced features. But because of the complexity of it, there's just no easy way to do it until now. Now there finally is, and not only is the upgrade, but you get reliability improvements significantly with the new LCDs.
I don't want to let you get away without talking about some of the other product lines. Ovation Select. Tell us where that fits into the spectrum of general aviation aircraft and business aircraft. Who is that product line designed for?
Okay, Ovation Select is a Honeywell's cabin and control system, and it is targeted for the very large business jets as well. And these things control lighting, allows really all the stuff that the cockpit doesn't do the Ovation Select can do, and it can do everything from high definition to TVs to Sony PS3s. And what's interesting is if you're playing a game on a PS3, which I guess if you have a $20 million jet, you like to do, older systems have latency, so the games don't work, right? You pull the trigger or move the car and it's too late. So this system is so modern, it actually has zero latency or nearly zero latency, so you can even play games on it.
Now, is there an interface for people playing games plugged into that system with people in other parts of the world, on the ground or wherever?
Well, that would be the data. While we do really good with high-speed data, that would probably be pushing it a little bit.
I was going to say, I'm thinking some systems I've seen were like 2 seconds of latency on applications like that. You guys have introduced a product for the low end. The KF840 is a primary flight display that's designed for the lower end, the piston end of the general aviation market.
So the first two products we talked about were the very high-end business jets and BBJs, which is a Boeing business jet. On the lower end, for piston power, so now you're talking about a 4-seat or a 6-seat piston-powered airplane, we have the KFD840, which is a primary flight display, which is an LCD, similar to Primus Elite, but for that lower end, because they have what's commonly called steam gauges, but the old mechanical gauges. And so those guys want to upgrade their airplanes in much the same way to get the newer capability of solid state attitude and so forth.
All right, can't let you get away too without talking about the Aviator. I saw it introduced a while back. You have some in the field now. How is it going over with end users?
Oh, they love it. They love it. The idea of having charts and maps, paperless charts and maps, everybody's excited about it. The people who have tried it love it. So we have the little Aviator, which we've sold thousands of, and people like that. And then kind of giving these pilots the big brother with the charts and maps has been very exciting.
Well, Dan, we wish you a successful show. I know this is kind of an interesting show in that it's closed primarily to industry people only, and you don't have the kind of walk-in crowds you have other places. Do you find that that focus helps in narrowing what you're talking to people about?
Yeah, because this is all of our dealers. We have nearly 700 dealers, and so this gives us a good chance to see many of them. As you could imagine, traveling would take a lot more effort, and everybody's here. And then soon, next week, we'll be at Sun and Fun, which has very, very few dealers and almost all end users. So this will be a good 2-week stretch for us.
All right. Well, Dan, we appreciate your being with us today, taking some time away from your booth.